Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with. Election is over, so now what? First of all, before I introduce Elaine Adler, I want to thank everybody for all the calls, the messages, all the support I got from yesterday. I started today with a new branding, a chapter of my life has closed and we move on. So that's why we're having the conversations today. How do we move on? What do we do now? I know that everybody is not going to miss all the ads, all the political ads. We can actually watch TV without the interruption and the whole thing. So I want to introduce today someone that has really moved this town, this county, and has expanded a lot of the businesses. And we're here just to talk about moving on and going ahead. So Elaine, welcome. Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, glad to. And hello, everybody. I'm Elaine Adler, president of the Aventura Marketing Council, Chamber of Commerce. For 30 years, yes, I feel like the grandmother of Aventura. We were actually here before the city incorporated. And so we actually became a self-taxing district because to take care of all that it was transportation and security and zonage and infrastructure and beautification, we did it. And when the city finally incorporated in 1996, it was like, thank you so much. We're so happy just to be our Chamber of Commerce. So I just wanted to go over a few numbers just so you recognize something. First of all, Florida's population, 21,299,325. 0% personal income tax, 0% state personal income tax, that was the local and state, 5% state corporate income tax. No wonder businesses want to be here. Now, Miami-Dade population, 2,795,722, give or take a few. By 2024, our population is expected to rise to 2,890,000. Miami-Dade has experienced unprecedented growth. We have an incredibly multicultural workforce and an entrepreneurial system. We are a global hub of innovation. And our secret is diversity, and technology levels the playing field. So we're going to talk a lot about technology today and what you're going to do with your business, small, medium, large, they know what they're doing. So Gladys, let's turn it back to you for some questions.
Well, now that all the businesses are having to reinvent themselves, we used to do what I called marketing through events. And now that's totally gone because face-to-face events cannot be done. So we need to change and we need to evolve. And that's where the technology comes in. We need to do something different in marketing. You and I know what the big events, we were talking before we went live, we were reminiscing about Pangea.
Oh my God. What a fabulous, I just happened to have the Pangea book. It was the Interworld Festival in Aventura. And it was so much fun to have this book and look back on what we created in January of 2008. There was a China pavilion, an Argentina, Canada, Latin America, Israel, Travel the World pavilion. This was a special event. But all those people are here now.
So all those people came here. I know we created an amazing event. We had all the sponsors. We had over 10,000 people coming over 2 days. But that is gone for now.
Indeed.
For now, until we can evolve. So how do we move on?
My friend, you know what? Necessity is the mother of invention. So our businesses are figuring it out. I can't have a big meeting in person, so we're going to go to technology. So Zoom we should have all bought Zoom stock, but Zoom and the other platforms are allowing us to continue on. So a meeting like this, we could have 200, 300, 1,000 people, and they could watch and they can interact. So that's the way it's going to go. You're doing business, you're marketing yourself on social media, and people are becoming very skilled because they have to.
You said something, interacting. Here today now, the key word is engagement. How do we engage the people back and forth? And you made it happen. While other chambers of commerce have had to step back and scale down, you have created the Monday. Then waking up at that time on a Monday morning, we can all kill you because of the time, but it's a really refreshing start of the week. And I've been able to connect with a lot of people now that I can go back to my old life and get my business and my foundation going again. That's what we need to do. The part of engagement. And that's the part that you have been able to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we knew this was back in March, and we knew all these beautiful meetings that we had were going to come to an end. And we just sat and figured out, what can we do? We need to keep our members connected. We need to keep our businesses talking to each other. We had already had Speed Biz. If you've done speed dating, you kind of know what it is. There's 2 lines, and we used to have 2 rows of people seating, and every 3 minutes, one person would move on, to the next one and meet somebody. Great networking. We would do that once a month. And our members said, we love it, we love it, we love it. Well, we decided we have to move it to virtual. And our wonderful Zoom administrator, Michael Stern Blue Media, he figured out how to do all this.
You're muted.
Okay. So,
yes.
All right. So Michael Stern, our Zoom guru, figured out how to do this. So not only do we now have all these little screens where we could talk to one another, but he is so talented that he puts us in these private chat rooms, and you've got 3 minutes. And you learn very quickly in those 3 minutes, you're not going to talk about, oh, what a nice color blouse you have. Oh, look at that beautiful plant in your office. You are talking about your business. You share that 3 minutes. He pulls you out of that private chat room. He moves you back into another chat room. So in the 1 hour on early Monday morning, every single Monday morning now, 8:30 to 9:30 a.m., our members are connecting. And we've also now included a lot of different chambers of commerce, because it's always nice to meet new prospective businesses.
I know. And now you need to capitalize on that.
We've given it away free for so long.
On that, because now it takes the same amount of time of putting together a virtual event that it takes physically.
Actually, I'm finding more.
It's more.
I'm finding it takes more, because when you have a meeting, you sit down and one-on-one and you communicate, everything that you need to take care of. And then you say, I forgot this, and for some reason, it's just taking more time. But we're doing more of it. Where we used to have 1 Speed Biz a month, we're doing 4 a month, every single Monday morning. Where we used to have 1 big breakfast meeting with 150, 200 of our members every month, we're bringing in great speakers every week. Where we used to have a chairman's roundtable once a month, we're bringing in these top level speakers and programs 2 to 3 times a month. So we've almost quadrupled our workload.
it's not only the workload, but it takes the amount of coordination. Like I'm trying to coordinate the next event of Power of the Heels, that by the way is December 10th.
Okay.
And it's 4 stories from different worlds. So it's a little coordination that it takes. But the other thing is that we can reach out everyone.
That
We
is true.
don't have, we're not limited to the people that came here. Because I remember when the Power of the Heels, we did it here in Aventura, we found that people came from Palm Beach, and we also found that people came from Homestead. So that's why we kept it in Aventura, because of the people coming in and out. But now we have no limits.
Oh, exactly. I mean, look at our Young Star Showcase. This is my baby, our signature event of the Aventura Marketing Council, our Interiors by Stephen G. Young Star Showcase. Every year, we would fill the house at the Aventura Arts and Cultural Center and present the most amazing young singers from throughout South Florida. These are not your twinkle, twinkle, little star kids. These are amazing young singers, ages 10 to 19, I think, usually. And some of them have been on America's Got Talent or The Voice. This year, we're not stopping that tradition. We are putting it on virtually, and we are creating watch parties. And you're absolutely right. Where we were limited in the theater to 300 people, we now anticipate at least 1,000 people, because we're creating watch parties throughout the whole Tri-County area and beyond.
You don't need to limit yourself to the Tri-County area.
Right.
No. So let me ask you something. A lot of the questions that I've been getting is, and a lot of the calls that I've been getting is, okay, now election is over and people need to move on. But a lot of the business I find are financially hurt. And I know that the PPP already stopped. We're not getting any more loans. On the contrary, I think that we're going to get a bill for those of us who got a loan and we need to pay it back. But where do they find the financial help that they need to start again?
You know what? There is still money. There are loans out there, and you just have to know where to go to look. I've got to tell you, the Miami-Dade Beacon Council is a great source of telling you what is going on. So the city of Miami had their own loan system, and some of it was just all forgivable grants. Different cities were also offering loans. Different organizations, the Knight organization was offering it. So I highly suggest you just log on to the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. The Small Business Administration will keep you updated on their kind of loans. As you mentioned, the PPP, the Payroll Protection Plan, hopefully it'll come back again. Those were forgivable loans if you used it for the right things. And the other big loans, also from the SBA, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan called EIDL loan, those have to be paid back. But you've got 30 years. Honey, I'm old. I can't worry about 30 years from now. So we'll just pay it back as it starts. And they gave you a year.
Yes.
Yes. So yes, there are resources. You just have to you just have to go looking. Just start Googling them. But start with the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, for sure.
The other part that I wanted to touch on is that I know that the restaurants, and there's some brave people, there's really a lot of brave people coming in. So, and starting new restaurants. We used to do the tastings.
Yeah.
And now you just had a virtual tasting. So please, how do you do a virtual tasting?
Oh, well, we knew our restaurants were among the hardest hit in this whole pandemic. So we went to our member restaurants and we said, we just want to help you. We're going to give you the opportunity to either tape something for 5 minutes or do it live for 5 minutes. tell us, give a quick tour of the restaurant, tell us what your special are, and show us, take us, kind of behind the kitchen and show us how you prepare one of your specialty dishes. It was, yes, you talk about coordination. Yes, it was a lot of fun, but the comments we got, our restaurants were so grateful. We asked each restaurant to give us a $25 gift certificate just to, encourage more of our members to log on. And in the chat room, all you saw was as these special dishes were being shown and made and created, and we purposely scheduled it at 12 noon because we wanted them to be hungry.
So everybody got hungry and went.
The chat room was hysterical. It's like, this is torturous, or I'm drooling, or the lunch I brought in from home looks really unappetizing now.
It doesn't look good right now, right?
And actually, we're working on doing that now with our hotels, because hotels certainly were another element of our community that we're working with the Sunny Isles Beach Tourism and Marketing Council. So we're going to cover our member hotels in Sunny Isles Beach and Aventura, and we're trying to figure that out. You're right, a lot of coordination, but we need to help. And there's ways we can help. We videotape it, we create a Zoom meeting, we invite all of our members to come see what's going on and be motivated to go out and eat, go get a staycation.
The first thing we're going to look at, and I'm going to give a little shout out to the new Hilton in Aventura, because today we're setting up the new showroom for events.
Really? Oh, how wonderful.
So I partner with the Hilton in Aventura to set up the next showroom. And we're working with them before they open.
Right. So they're supposed
to literally, I will do something so you can showcase that one. As soon as it's ready, it's also a little coordination because the hotel is not finished. So it takes a little more time, but it's being set up right now, and I'll send you a little peek. Right. So yeah, that's another way of helping hotels, because a lot of the revenue comes from the events.
Right. And they haven't had events. Right, of course.
Yeah, and I remember that when I had events, I used all the hotels for people to come and stay there. And they literally, remember when Pangea came, we took a lot of the rooms in all of the hotels. So that's the part that we need to reinvent ourselves.
Well, so here's some good news. As we're talking to our local hotels, certainly the JW Marriott, Turnberry Resort, and the Hilton, and the AC, and the Aloft, and the Residence Inn, they are getting some very nice interest and big bookings for 2021.
I know.
So, they hung in there through thick and thin, and it's coming to pass, but you've got to market. If you don't, this is not the time to pull back. This is absolutely the time to market yourself.
Go and market yourself. And part of how we do the marketing is an integrated strategy plan, so that you integrate social media, PR, live events, or now virtual events, so that they all come together to promote a product or a service.
Right.
And that's what they need to do every service.
And you could turn any virtual event into an engagement event. I mean, just be a little creative. We're seeing some of the charities, and if you buy a ticket and you have the link to go onto the event, they will deliver to your home or your office, wherever you want it, a meal or a bottle of wine. So you're not there having dinner. The platforms are amazing, though, for making you feel like you're really there.
Well,
at the private cocktail parties, you could sit with your table of 8 and you're there on a screen, but you're there with your table of 8 networking with them.
Well, look what happened when Passover came. that a lot of people put their computer and they had all the family that they never thought that they would be together doing a Passover meal. So each one had experienced it different. But when talking about charities, I'm working together with Sheba Medical Center.
Mm-hmm.
And it's connected with the gala is going to have um, oh, I lost the word. It's going to be connected from Israel to Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and I don't remember where in Europe. So all that is being coordinated because each of the chapters of Shiva Medical Center in the whole world is going to be part of it.
That's amazing.
So it's going to be really, really amazing. I'm going to be one of the hosts for the Florida chapter.
When is the date? I definitely need to see
November 22nd.
November. That's coming up.
That's coming up right now. And I just got that our host for that night is, wait, let me tell you, because our host for that night, Shira Haas. For those of you who do not know who Shira Haas is, she is the main star of the movie Unorthodox. It was a girl that played the very Orthodox Jewish girl that decided to leave the community. And for those of you who have not watched that movie, it's totally amazing. Unorthodox on Netflix. So the main star Shira Haas is going to be our moderator and our host for that night.
Right. You know, you bring up a really good point. When you're doing one of your special meetings, not necessarily a business meeting, but you're doing a special meeting, you do want a celebrity. You do want a name to link to it and support it. And it certainly, you know, helps increase the audience. And that's really what you want. Because the more people that know of it, I mean, you didn't even mention the fabulous work that Sheba does.
Oh, Sheba has been named one of the 10 most, one of the best hospitals in the world by Newsweek. So Sheba has now been, but I had a whole conversations with 2 weeks ago and how they have been at the cut edge of all the COVID, all the lessons learned, how they're moving forward. They now have a test, a saliva test that takes 15 to 20 seconds.
To determine if you've
to
got
determine
the virus
if you have the virus or not. So they can put immediately, once you get into the hospital, they test you and they can immediately take you to one side or the other. And the test, the tracing is amazing. And the biggest lesson they all found out is masks. We all need to use masks, that's it. Because I'm gonna tell you an interesting story, because part of the financial recovery that we need to have is based on COVID. Because if COVID goes away, we come back to normal life. People will do events, we come back to all the things, the traffic, the hectic, everything. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you an example. Taiwan has the same population as Florida. And Taiwan has a very, very strict policy on wearing masks and testing and contact tracing. They had already 211 days with 0 cases.
Wow.
So we need to learn something from them. They've had 0 cases. Their economy has gone back to normal with the same population as Florida. We're having now an average of 5,000 cases. So everybody now is scared that if we go to lockdown, if we don't go to lockdown, what's going to happen with the economy? But look at what they're doing. It's very simple. you test, you trace, and you wear a mask, and it works.
Right, right.
If we
But
follow those,
yeah, you know what's interesting? Now that people have gotten used to the social media platform and the Zoom meetings, and they start thinking, well, maybe, I can just kind of keep this up. I don't have to drive. You mentioned the traffic, the time loss, the parking fees, maybe this format is just a little bit better. So I think we're going to see a hybrid.
no,
If
no,
we're,
we're
people,
gonna
people are
totally
going to
do
stay on Zoom. I can tell you, our members, they're not moving off the Zoom meetings for speed biz. No way, because you get to meet everybody.
go and you don't get, it's like it takes a whole hour away as well
Yeah, I
to
could.
be there.
Just transportation, of course.
I
So,
know this is going to change a lot of the things that we used to do.
yeah.
But with change comes a lot of the things. Look,
Yeah. Well, with change comes opportunity.
yes, and opportunity and innovation is what it's all about. I
Exactly.
remember a brief story about how the flash drive was created in Israel because they needed to send information and it was during a war. I don't remember exactly the story, but they needed to come up with something. So the flash drive was created. And if you think about it, that you can have all your information in a little stick that you can take everywhere.
That's exactly right.
Remember the fax machine? That you put a fax machine there and you could send documents everywhere without moving. So now we're doing exactly the same thing. We're meeting, we're having all kinds of meetings, but we're virtually connected.
Right.
I do miss the hugs. Of course, I'm Latin, so I miss the big, the big hug and the cafecitos.
Yeah.
But
There are some, some of our businesses, many of our businesses have feet in both industries. So I'm just wondering. So for instance, our Aventura News, okay? So most newspapers just kind of folded and really went almost under during this time. The Aventura News, part of the community newspaper family, kept on printing, and they just beefed up their online presence. So everything that's printed, of course, is also online. But they did not stop printing, and they kept on going. And that's what we were talking about. This is not the time to pull back. This is a time to market yourself, to be out there, to participate. Because I can tell you, every time I go to a meeting, and it doesn't have to be our meeting, I will make a business contact. That's just the way it is.
But that's the biggest lesson that we all need to learn. When things go down, the first thing that you cancel from your budget is marketing. And that is the last thing that you need to do.
That is exactly.
Now that you mentioned community newspapers, we did a partnership with the Power of the Hills.
I didn't know.
They are distributing all our content. So,
wonderful, wonderful. That is just such a great little community newspaper. They have 11 editions, and of course, Aventura is only one of them. And we call it the good news newspaper. So you're not going to see those negative headlines about murders and rapes and robbery. That's not what this newspaper is for.
No,
turn on your radio or turn on your television and you are on overload with that. We want to present information in our paper, education, motivation, inspiration, and yes, it's done through ads that they handle directly, and then certainly the articles that we have for our members in there. Yeah, but it's a great partner. We've had a partnership with them for 30 years.
Well, that's what we had in one of the meetings, that everything is about partnerships.
Right.
I know. We used to have a list of people that we were getting jobs, and now we're back at it.
Absolutely.
Sharing who needs a job, who has someone that's hiring, and we match them up, and that's the biggest blessing we can ever do for someone.
Yep, yep. And you know, it's so funny because the Marketing Council was Aventura Marketing Council / Chamber of Commerce. We've been around for so long that people tend to call us for everything, particularly when they're new businesses in town. So I have gotten phone calls from CEOs. Is there a barber shop open at 10 o'clock at night? Can you point me to one? Something like that. Or, oh my gosh, there's a dead dog in this tree. What do I do? So, you know, we've kind of become just a community resource. So yes, we do all of our wonderful businesses and help our businesses, but we're here to help. We're here to help.
But I know that we're out of time. I really wanted to thank you for being part of Moving On. And I hope that everybody that's opening a business contact the Aventura Marketing Council. Join the Speed Biz on Monday and see you next week. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
And
Gladys.
have a safe day. Enjoy the day and be safe.
Thank you. Be safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.